Let's talk about these new menu items in terms of bringing in traffic. What do you notice when you roll them out? What kind of traffic you get and what sort of check size you get?
Well, Melissa, we have learned over time, after 15 straight quarters of meeting Wall Street expectations, we hit a little bit of an air pocket in Q2, and then in Q3 we went back to a formula we know works really well, and it kicks off with Red Robin Royalty, which is a best-in-class loyalty program with almost 4 million unique users, and it lets us message to them based on their visit frequency and their purchase behavior. And that makes a big difference. And as you mentioned, the Big Sky Burger, well, that's one of Red Robin's finest. So it's 8 ounces of a premium grind, black Angus beef. And in the case of the Big Sky, it's blackened with bacon,
Ooh.
a sriracha drizzled onion ring, arugula and garlic aioli, and it's been a big hit. So coming back to Royalty, Red Robin Royalty, and our finest line has really made a big impression on us. And as you saw in Q3, our total revenues were up about 16%.
Sure. I mean, your check size is bigger by about 3% or so, a little bit more than that. But what analysts were concerned about in that third quarter, Steve, was the traffic declines because you had launched the brand revitalization effort. And some are concerned out there that perhaps you're not gaining enough traction because you're seeing it in that decline in traffic.
Well, I think that's a little bit of a hangover, Melissa, from Q2. We're very pleased with what we're seeing on our brand transformation restaurants, and those are the restaurants we're remodeling to specifically give guests several different kinds of experiences in the restaurant, from a great bar experience, from an adult standpoint, or an enhanced experience with your kids. And we did see traffic come back to a positive level at the end of Q3.
So what are you seeing? Because what Wall Street knows in terms of the numbers that you've reported so far is that compared to your competitors, such as Texas Roadhouse, Outback, Applebee's, IHOP, your traffic was down in the quarter, their traffic was up. So in terms of what you're seeing to date, you said at the end of the quarter it was accelerating. What are you seeing to now?
Well, typically, Melissa, we don't give in-quarter guidance on traffic. All I can say is over the last 2 years, we have consistently beat the black box, which measures our traffic against our competitors. Up until the second quarter, we had a little hangover there. And at the end of the third quarter, as we saw, our traffic did come back. And it really is a market share game.
Yeah.
And that positive traffic at the end of Q3 was really encouraging.
Tell us about the red wine milkshake, because when I first read about it, to be honest, I thought it sounded disgusting. I still haven't tried it yet, but these are two things that you wouldn't necessarily think to combine, ever.
Well, you know, Melissa, we know our guests. Our guests have kind of an existential conflict. When they sit and look at a beautiful Red Robin gourmet burger, they're torn. Their question is, do I get a beer or a glass of wine, or do I get a shake? And the great news is we've solved that problem with the Divalicious red wine shake. And if you're a beer guy, you can get a Blue Moon beer shake. So you can have your ice cream and your alcohol at the same time.
Wow. What a world we live in these days. Steve, thank you so much for your time. Appreciate it.
Thanks, Melissa.
Steve Carley, the CEO of Red Robin Gourmet Burgers. Again, a stock that's really seen some momentum over the past month or so. Who wants to try this?
No. It's interesting. Go ahead. No,
I don't know if I want to try that, but I'll try the stock. I mean, at 21.5 times next year's numbers, these guys are actually value territory in the casual dining space. I think it's very interesting what they're doing on the transformation, not just of the brand, but actually moving to less of a family place and, frankly, to a more profitable bar environment. As a guy that runs bars, I mean, as a side job, this is ultimately a place where they're getting much higher margins and where this value kind of mix will really make sense. So I like the stock. I think it's actually trading very well. I think the momentum's back in the name. It's interesting.